It's like the messier your studio is and you're productive, the more evidence that you've made your work fun. You know, procrastination, creative block, indecision, all of that stuff is a gift to you because it reveals the flaws in the process. If you assume they're personality defects, then they don't help you. They do nothing because the personality defect is the thing you're stuck with. But if you go like, okay, why am I procrastinating? And then it's like, okay, well, you only procrastinate on things that suck. And it's like, okay, I'm procrastinating on a painting. Well, painting doesn't suck. Well, by definition, it must because you're procrastinating. So then the question is, what are you thinking that makes painting suck? Or what are you doing when you paint that makes it suck? But one way or another, it sucks. Because if it didn't suck, you would do it. You wouldn't be like weeding the garden or whatever people do. Or like our old studio was so clean, you know, because like I just procrastinated so much because my process was just god awful. And I didn't realize it. I just thought I procrastinated. And it's like now I'm like working in my basement. It's a disaster area. And I fix little bits and pieces when I've got nothing to do. And I'm like, oh, I could use a break. Let's like put some stuff away. Whereas before, I would have come down here and been like, oh my God, I can't work. I need to deal with this. And it's like the messier your studio is and you're productive, the more evidence that you've made your work fun. And you're not getting distracted by running weird errands and cleaning up the floor. And like that stuff matters, but like you want to be doing it the way you would do it in your house normally. You don't want to be doing it where it's like you're convinced yourself it's like, I respect my space, so I sweep the corners every day. Like, nah, fuck that. Like, you don't want to work. I love an empty table. Okay, if I'm like sitting down to do stuff and I just see an empty space, I'm like, oh, yes. But at the same time, my solution to making one is just toss the shit on the floor. Like, fuck it. I want the table empty. Whereas before it was like, okay, man, maybe I need to go to Office Max.
Sometimes too, I'll like do a project and it'll make me start doing that cleaning anyway. So once I'm like actually working on shit, it's like, oh, now that I'm trying to do a screen print, I notice all this fucking boxes are in my way.
Yeah, like once you're actually doing the work, you realize like what stuff is getting in the way of doing it for real and not which stuff are you pretending matters, like your brand of notebook or whatever. I haven't taught it in a while, but I would teach this START workshop, which was like this one night workshop that was like just completely deconstructing your excuses. But somehow the conversation, someone was like, they were asking about like keeping your space clean or something. And I was like, oh, I've got the solution. I don't work in a space. I work at the kitchen table or on the couch. And that solves the space issue because the couch is always empty. The kitchen table's mostly empty. I can't get wrapped up in having the perfect space if I've decided that my office is officially a backpack, a computer, and a scanner when I need to plug into it. And it's just like, boom, done. Life is easy. For a long time, I was just like, nah, fuck a space. I did everything at the kitchen table. You know, it was like I'd put a drawing on the kitchen table or I'd sit at the kitchen table. The ability to like kind of work regardless is almost like another little kid quality. Like when you're a kid and you go on vacation, you just look for any square of concrete to skate. Like you don't give a shit. You could be on farmland and you're like, there's a 10-foot patch of concrete. Sweet. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, if you can't work unless you're in a hyper-specific space, and maybe there's like an argument to be made that like at a certain level of maturity, it's like you have your studio and so on and so forth. But then again, that my wiring doesn't work that way. Like I get Gerhard Richter cannot just show up at my house and then be like, I just work at the kitchen table. He's got his deal and like in his wiring. But like for my wiring, I definitely just am like, I've gotten closer and closer to this idea of like, arm on the table, move everything to the side. Cool, I can work. And for a long time, I couldn't do that. Like I needed everything to be just so. And I think it was a manifestation of like the work not being fun enough. Now I'm like so excited, right? It's like, fuck it, clear this shit out, work. Whereas before it was like the work was gonna kind of be this slog. It was gonna be hard. So then it was like, well, cool, I guess everything around it should be hard as well.